All right, my fellow agents, welcome back. This is Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. I am X7, your host. Today is Monday, which is Animated Series Day, and we are going to be reviewing the next 3 episodes of The Savage Dragon. This is going from Season 1, at Episode 13, into Season 2, where we get a new introduction, some new designs. They're all right. I mean, nothing too extreme, although Dragon's wearing an overcoat a lot more than he needs to, but it was the mid-90s. And before we get too much further into that, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the new... I'd put the new intro in, but it got flagged and I had to take it out the last time, so I'm not even going to bother. I guess I could do it with silence, maybe. I'll think about that. In fact, let's do that. I'll put it in and talk over it. So, having said all that, are you ready? Let's roll. So we will start out with the 13th episode, which is the last episode of Season 1, called Armageddon. This aired at least some point in time. January 17th, 1996. And once again, we get an episode without the Overlord. So, and this scientist, they're at the biodome. Fortunately, Pauly Shore is nowhere to be found. Thankfully, I had to turn it off right away. But he finds a leech that's frozen in the water, nearly frozen in the water. So we all know where this is going. And they're building the lady scientist, the woman, she's building a laser. And this black guy has a Russian accent. Now, if you know anything about Russia, you know that's highly unlikely. I think they might have gotten the two actors' voices crossed up there, but I don't know. They're off to celebrate with some borscht or something. But Skullet scientist there decides that he's going to, it could be a new leech species. So he subjects it to the laser, which makes it grow and divide. And Dragon shows up to, this guy pilfers a purse. She-Dragon interrupts him. So She-Dragon's in this last episode. I think they've realized that she was popular. And once again, our hero, Sergeant Frank, calls him Finhead, which just makes She-Dragon laugh. But there's some problem. Nobody's responding at the biodome. The last professor there, the woman, the lead professor, she's been leeched. They try to trick him. Everyone's there, but they find out it's Horde. Blah. Which is, Larson's got great ideas and used very well. At least in the cartoon series. Horde shows some red tornado-like properties. They turn on the air, but fortunately, and they start de-leechifying the people, but there, see his red tornado arms. And he's caught them, but they don't kill him yet because he's got a monologue. They just got a monologue. These episodes run about 20 minutes, so take out 2 minutes each. 2 minutes for credits, so it's like 18 minutes. They go by in a hurry. And that, it's 10 minutes of advertisements on USA talking about whatever they were talking about. So he's going to use the laser to warm up the earth so that his leeches can control everybody and take over. And She-Dragon, they open it up so that because the cold air leeched, Horde does not like cold air, obviously. She-Dragon gets leeched and fights Dragon for a while. But fortunately, Alex frees her. They pull a Dragon out of the water. And he's like, go home. They de-leech the lead scientist there. She says if they get an energy source, they can use it somewhere else. It's not just here. None of them are wearing warm clothes, and they're outside in the middle of winter. The Chicago winter. The windy apple, to quote Kelly Bundy. Off Dragon goes. to try to ruin it. He gets zapped. She Dragon's there, and she helps out. She does help. She's still not an officer yet, but here's where it is. Probably what's the big tower in Chicago? Sears Tower, maybe. Dragon's burnt and bothered. There's the laser again. Up it goes to the max. So they find out that Horde has taken over Skullet guy, but then he leaves him. Horde has promised him that to share the power, and of course, Dragon. They play on that. He's just using you, and Horde pretty much admits to it because he doesn't think like a human. I guess I don't know what Horde's origin story is, and I really haven't cared that much to look. But he looks like No Man. If you remember your Thunder Agents, boy, wouldn't it have been nice to see Hanna-Barbera do a Thunder Agents cartoon. Too bad parents had butted in their way in and ruined action-packed cartoons. But they could do it. Set it in the 60s. It'd be groovy. So this guy goes nuts and decides to destroy the Fiend. Or not the Fiend, pardon me. He's coming up. Sorry. Destroy Horde by giving him too much energy, and he starts oozing and melting and gross and explodes. So they put him away because he's gone cuckoo, and she thinks you don't have to thank me, and he starts going in. You're not an officer. Stop it. But of course, we can't end the show without showing that there's always one leech left of Horde. There is just the opening there. And the opening title scenes have changed a bit there. You get to see them. At least this one has. It's called Bull. This was broadcast, let's see, September 18th, 1996. So 13. So they've probably run through the first set twice. Well, let's see. Probably even a third time before they started these. Got the credit right there in the front. And there is Arachnid who's stealing from there. Dragon shows up. They've got a new, a bug zapper, I want to call it, but it's a super freak zapper that disrupts their power. And then we see this guy, a director on a set, and there's Bull, the Raging Bull. Doesn't sound too much like De Niro, but there's a punch out. He's doing his own stunts because he can. But he's playing an officer, a policeman who's a freak. I'm just a freak a super freak with a badge. The disruptor works on that. He saves Alex from getting scooshed by the spider. And they're recording it because that's a director. Get it all on film, or probably tape, as the case may be. Shot in Chicago. Couldn't be that. I mean, that's, an unusual thing there. Alex is a little taken with I'm not going to say it. Something about his horns, but and they start dating. And they still don't know who's that. And she's all googly-eyed, googly-boogly, and Dragon's a little jealous here because the guy's imitating him. It's really, a freak that's on the Chicago Police Department's based on him. So they're still looking around, trying to figure it out. Dragon's suspicious. There's a bomb. Kaboom! He saves Alex, but she lands on him. And R. Richard Richards. Is that his name again? Yeah. Played by Dorian Harewood. Same guy who plays Lieutenant Frank Darling. He's like, yeah, get us more stories. But so far, that's... And then we see that the Red Bull's there. Everyone's wearing his dumb hat. Shades of Davy Crockett. Even the chief. They get into a fight at a fancy restaurant. Dragon gets suspended, probably with pay. And I don't remember what Alex is annoyed about. There we go. So, is that Niceman there? Can't tell from that picture. She calls Dragon, and they're like, well, let's talk about this. Why he's still in his outfit is beyond me. I mean, come on, guys. The animation studio, does this say who this was? Lacewood Productions Season 1, Studio B Productions Season 2, and then, of course, Universal Cartoon Studios, P3 Entertainment, USA Studios, all involved, but two different probably animation companies. And they just kind of, their quality control could have used a bit more quality control. Dragon gives our favorite sergeant there a box of donuts. It's a jelly, eh? And frees Arachnid, who goes off on there, and I forget why he's here, but Dragon gets pummeled, but he splats onto Arachnid. They're pals again. Arachnid's taken away, and now he gets to say the line, I'm just a super freak with a badge. A Chicago PD cop. And finally, our last episode is She-Fiend. So you can tell what this one's going to be about. The Fiend returns and takes over She-Dragon. This was aired September 25th, 1996, the 15th episode, and the second one, the production code 202, second one of the second season. They're probably all in order. Oops. This was a pretty good episode, I thought. The Fiend just reminds me of Johnny Thunder's Thunderbolt, who I really liked there. I hope he's still smartassery because he knew Johnny was a dunderhead. Johnny Thunder was a dunderhead. I really liked the Thunderbolt a lot, and I liked Johnny. He was a good guy, even if a little slow. But the superhero-dom is worse off without people like Johnny Thunder and his magic third level. I forget what Dr. Fate called him, even though he could alter reality. His powers were so poorly defined, he was nearly omnipotent. Anyway, this night, the Overlord has recruited new freaks for his army. Of course, Niceman, who's not nice. The bigot Niceman is there. They're making quips toward each other. And they're after the same team, the same freak wagon. But there's the She-Dragon, because tonight's the night Overlord it's been a year since Overlord killed her father. Dun, dun, dun. So she's out for vengeance, which attracts the Fiend because he feeds on hate, and she hates the Overlord. So now we've got I don't know if they named any of these. I didn't hear anything. That looks a little like the Swamp Thing there, doesn't it? Very much in Eric Larson's style. So I like the fact that they use his art style, based it, on that, except for the gigantic, overly pumped upper body torsos. Alex has to fight with the octopus, and one of the new freaks gets thrown into Fiend, who takes over his body, while the She-Dragon threatens the octopus. She's going to pummel him, but Alex zaps him with the bug zapper. The Fiend doesn't like that guy and leaves him, and she's just talking about how much she hates him. Guess who gets? Of course, that is she's kind of scary looking here. I mean, although why she'd be wearing? She's not wearing gloves. She is wearing gloves. Okay, but not a cape. But yeah, really powerful. I mean, they think this is the Fiend thinks this is his ticket here because she hates him so much. Goes back to threaten the octopus, who rats out Overlord, but Dragon shows up, and he loses his shirt a lot now. He's pulling a bit of a Doc Savage here. Niceman shows up, who interferes, and there's more of his stuff. These are two super freaks running a chop shop, and the Dragon goes there and finds out. Tell me where Overlord is. They have a little tussle there, and he's in no mood to mess around because he's trying to warn the Overlord. She-Dragon threatens Mako, threatens him, turning him into sushi, something like that. Once again, there's Doubleheader, an unnamed freak. They shoot up bunches of things. Dragon gets dropped below because there's what kind of supervillain lair would not have a trapdoor with a deadly trap in it, with walls that crush or grind or something. But he frees himself. Alex shows up and helps him out. And finally, She-Fiend confronts the Overlord. But his hate is strong enough. Her hate is strong enough to feed the Fiend. Her body's not. He just blasts away. Dragon shows up and tells him to pardon the door or watch the door. But while he's trying to get the Fiend out of She-Dragon, Overlord's coming. I thought he was going to, really hurt Alex because that would, given him a little impetus, a little emotional content here. But Still 1995, even though Batman the Animated Series and the X-Men series were treating kids a little more, intellectually. This was not. But he's had enough, and She-Dragon gets rid of the Fiend, and Alex or the Dragon and the Fiend have a bit of a tussle. While She-Dragon has to go through that, but then the Fiend is inside the Overlord, so it's the Overfiend. Ew, we wouldn't want a legend of that. So they decide to leave, and his new army of super freaks is going to attack City Hall, but somehow they get misdirected to the pier or the bridge and end up in the water. Frank's like, the dragon says, "Stay out of our city till you clean yourselves up." They arrest a bunch of them, and that's it. So, my fellow agents, that is those 3 episodes. We have, I think, 11 left. So I may do a little creative stuff here and do 4 episodes twice. We'll see. I'm really a little annoyed at myself that I did not figure out to use this theme that we're hearing. It's Enter the Dragon. I don't know how that just didn't sit with this. But tomorrow we are going to be reviewing a lesser known, very interesting, and almost pretty good. It's good. It's pretty good. Movie, Space Master X7, with its deadly blood rust. So stay tuned. So, my fellow agents, until tomorrow, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
It seemed incredible that the microscopic material that Space Master X7 brought back to Earth from outer space could grow into this crawling, pulsating, thinking mass of protoplasmic evil.
As the specimens grow, their need for nourishment also increases. Because of its color, I call this organism blood rust.
Joe.
Blood rust.
Palmer.
It lived on flesh and destroyed everything that stood in its way. There was only one way to stem this red tide of destruction, with total warfare.
One human contact, one unwitting person who spreads this thing can carry contagion all over the country, all over the world.
The entire forces of a nation mobilized to hunt down any possible carrier of this dread contamination. Among them, this beautiful blonde who fled in panic because of the shameful secret she had to hide from the world. The woman they have to find, the taint they have to destroy with fire and fury, to stop the creeping terror that's spread by land and through the air.
We can't get our landing gear down. Blood rust must have damaged the hydraulic system. We'll have to make it a belly landing.
North-south runway. We'll lay a fomite path for you.